right, this, what would you call this, primary eve? I guess you would. We are in record territory for at least the Dow and the S&P 500. NASDAQ continues sprinting along. So technology stocks, the Magnificent Seven, looking more magnificent than ever. And this is kind of their year. Presidential election years, on average, see pretty robust growth. Again, about 7.5%. That's been the case since 1928. I remember it well. What a kooky election that was for me to cover. But again, it does follow a trend. That's what happens. Alan Nuckman on all of that from the CBOE in Chicago. Alan, how do you see this year going? You were bullish going into it. I mean, a lot of people were saying, all right, that bull market last year was, that's it. You saw it continue. I guess you still do.
Well, that's a path of least resistance. We've been in a bull market for essentially 50 years, and I've been trading for 34 years. And one thing I've learned is presidents don't make markets, presidents don't break markets. So if you look here, last week was the first real trading week for the new year. Merry New Year, Neil. And you saw we made new all-time forever highs, and now a full V recovery in the S&P. I'm going to tell you targets S&P 6,000, which is 25% above. And every time in history we made a comeback after a sell-off, you add that distance of that drop on that old top, that's made new all-time highs, and it's happened every time in market history, I guess, until it doesn't.
So, and regardless of whether the year before was a strong market.
Right?
Okay.
Right, exactly. I mean, we've been in strong markets. Like I said, with 50 years, I'm not trying to be the smart guy and pick the market top. I'm just not trying to be, I'm not trying to be the dumb guy and pick the market top. I'm just going with the trend. And there are so many positives right now. Interest rates are coming down, dollars coming down, corporate earnings are increasing. And it comes down to capitalism wins and optimism wins. Corporations know how to adapt and innovate, and money's a powerful force. They can figure out how to make money and they have pricing power. They can make money in every environment. So, that's the nature, and that's how we measure that. I'm not making a judgment about how I feel about the economy. It's the reality of corporations continue to make billions and billions and billions of dollars, and that's a function of the stock price.
So in other words, if earnings continue and the pace continues, expected to pick up, that's just, greasing the skids for this.
Yeah, I mean, everything is set up here. And if you look at the NASDAQ, technically, I trade what I see, is set up for about another 25% move. If we look at the PE ratio, the PE ratio right now is at 19. When we were at our highs in 2022, the PE was around 23, so that's about a 25% difference. Same thing with the VIX. The VIX did not make new lows, even though the stock market's making new highs. So we got about a 25% move in the VIX. So everything's setting itself up for more. Now, it's not going to be a straight-up move. It was healthy to see that price pause that we had here at the beginning of January. And you know what? I'm going to say it. I was celebrating my man of the year, Jerome Powell. He's played this exactly right. Nobody likes the Fed. Nobody likes them raising rates or lowering rates. But so far, the market reaction, and that's what we follow. It's not about politics. It's we follow how the markets move, and the markets have loved it and performed exactly as we wanted.
Got it, my friend. You are an encyclopedia. Much appreciated, Alan. Alan Nuckman, you might have caught a couple of references he made to price-earnings ratio, a PE of about 19 times earnings. That's all the earnings of companies divided by their shares. Some people find that a little rich, not others. And then he was referring to this VIX index. It's a gauge of sentiment out there, a volatility index. Right now, it's pretty low. So a lot of people read into that the fact that people are not going nuts about this. Now, whether it holds is anyone's guess. What we do know what's holding right now is cold weather across the country, though not as cold.